Right now, you might think you have a lead problem. You want more leads, more opportunities, more prospects. I used to think that too, but eventually I did discover something really important. I didn't have a lead problem at all. I had a relationship problem. And here's what I'm going to show you in this article: why relationships are becoming one of the biggest competitive advantages in real estate, and why so many agents are working harder today because they're still using a strategy built for a different environment. I learned this the hard way 3 years into my career, and I was exhausted. And honestly, I just wasn't sure I wanted to do it anymore. Business was so bumpy because I was going from chasing one lead to another one, good ones and bad ones. And I was working 7 days a week, and I was working long hours, running from one possibility to another, just hoping one of them turned into something. My family was supportive of my career, mostly, but tension had started creeping in. Even though they believed in me, I frequently wasn't there when they needed me. And the worst part, I was sacrificing this, my family, my time, my energy, for people who might or might not want to buy or sell a house. And then one day I decided I'd had enough. And I marched into my manager's office. I raised my fist in the air like Scarlett O'Hara, and I declared, I am giving this business one more year of my life. And if I haven't doubled my business at the end of that year, I am going to get a job. Yes, I spelled it. I still don't know why. She looked at me and she said something that just completely changed my career. You can't double your business continuing to do what you're doing. You have got to stop chasing leads and start building a sphere of influence of people who trust you. And I remember saying, okay, how? And to my surprise, it turns out it has nothing to do with scripts or databases or marketing plans. What she helped me discover was that I was sabotaging myself by believing things about my sphere that just weren't true. That I had to have a shift in the way I thought, that I needed tools to create consistency, and why relationships worked much differently than most agents thought. Those lessons transformed me. And in the weeks ahead, I'm going to unpack all of those lessons for you. And I can tell you that after decades in this business and working with literally tens of thousands of real estate agents, I know for sure many agents are working harder than they need to today for the exact same reasons that I was. By the way, in case you're wondering, I didn't double my business in the coming year. I quadrupled my business in the coming year. And it changed everything because I learned that relationships aren't just important in real estate, they are a strategy. I thought I needed more prospects, but what I actually needed was a different way of thinking about it. So I could stop pursuing bad leads and using all of my energy to do it. Today agents are discovering an old approach that requires more effort with less return. So let's talk about why going in and doing relationships is so much better and such a competitive advantage. For years, I always thought transactions drove relationships. If I sold a buyer a house one day, maybe they would refer it to me. But it actually works the opposite way. Relationships drive transactions. Very different business model. Relationships create things that lead generation can't do. They create repeat business, they create referrals and introductions and advocacy and stability in your business to weather any market. I thought that one transaction created income, but what I learned was one relationship creates years of opportunities. Transactions compound, transactions don't. But let's talk about what nobody else is talking about. There's a reason why agents know this, but still don't do it. It's not because they don't know how, it's emotional. Cultivating relationships feels surprisingly vulnerable. For many agents, reaching out creates this internal conversation that sounds something like this: I just don't want to bother them. I don't want to sound pushy. What if they think I'm only calling them because I want business? What if they don't respond? What if it feels awkward? Underneath all of that is one thing: fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of being needy, fear of not being enough. So instead of reaching out, many agents do something safer. They chase stranger because, oddly enough, cold leads feels more less emotionally risky than people who actually know us. I understand it and I've lived it. And in many ways, this series really isn't about working your sphere. It's about removing the barriers to making relationship building feel really comfortable. Now, you might be thinking, John, work my relationship. I work my spheres. I do. And I just can't do more. I don't want to do more calls. I don't want to do more follow up or asking more pressure. That is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about changing the way you think, where you're cultivating these relationships, where this sphere of influence feels like you are a valuable part of their team. And that's what I'm going to be showing you. We're going to be talking about the challenges and beliefs, and we're going to be replacing them with the things that create something more sustainable. Better conversations, better relationships, better business. Because agents who are thrive moving forward won't necessarily be the ones generating the most leads. They'll be the ones creating the most relationships. Look, here's the bottom line. I thought I had a lead problem. I had a relationship problem. And that realization changed my life, because growth doesn't come from finding more people. It came from deepening relationships. And moving forward, I think that lesson matters more than ever. Relationships don't just support your business, they are a key strategy to building your business.